A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I seek refuge in Allah against shaitan and all forms of negativity and evil, and I begin in the name of Allah, the indiscriminately compassionate, the infinitely merciful. Surah Kahf ends in Juz 16 with a conversation between Nabi Musa alayhi salam and Khidr. Now, when Musa alayhi salam was asked by his people who were the most knowledgeable persons on earth, and he said himself, and then Allah admonished him saying that actually Khidr was the most knowledgeable. So Musa alayhi salam set out to find Khidr, and when he met Khidr, Musa experienced Khidr's level of knowledge through some challenges that they both faced on this journey together, in which Musa lacked patience. And however, the entire journey was about a humbling experience for Musa alayhi salam, that whatever knowledge we possess should humble us, and it should not make us arrogant, because one can never exhaust the knowledge of the universe, and hence the pursuit of knowledge, of new knowledge, should always be a desire. And so Musa was at least determined to know more. So we learn from this that only those who make the effort towards knowledge will receive it. Musa also learned that things are not always the way they seem. So we must be willing to look at situations from different angles, or at least be open to it. And within the pursuit of knowledge, we have to trust the source of all knowledge, which is Allah. Sometimes committing what may seem as a crime, but it is done for the greater good, it's about choosing the lesser of the two evils, a necessary course to take, even though sometimes you will be judged by others for it. And then in the pursuit of knowledge, one has to exercise patience. Musa and Khidr, two very knowledgeable personalities, yet Musa the student had to show the utmost of respect and reverence for Khidr the teacher if he was going to be learning anything. This leads us into the next surah, Surah Maryam, named after the mother Mary. Although women are referenced in the Quran, Maryam is the only woman mentioned by name and referencing her more than 30 times. She is considered the symbol of motherhood, a giver of life, mother of all mothers, and mother of Jesus, Ruhullah, the Spirit of Allah. And in this surah, the words Rahmah and Rahman, in reference to the compassion of Allah, is repeated 20 times. And very interestingly, the womb of a woman is also called Raham, from the same root, symbolic of how Allah's compassion envelops the embryo as it grows through the dark trimesters. And then in the same way referencing the womb of Maryam, who gave birth to the most compassionate of all human beings, Jesus alayhi salam. We then move on to Surah Taha, which opens up with Allah reassuring the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that the Quran was not sent down to burden him, but rather as a reminder to those who stand in awe of their sustainer. Surah Taha reiterates the biblical story of Musa alayhi salam and his encounter with a manifestation of Allah on the Mount of Sinai, where he was asked to take off his shoes as he stepped on holy ground, to throw down his staff, which turned into a snake, and then to remove his hand from his bosom and it will turn white. And this all was in preparation to oppose the magic of the tyrant Fir'aun. Then the surah continues on to relate the story of how Musa saves his people from the oppression of Fir'aun, saving them by splitting the sea so that they could escape. But when Fir'aun and his men tried to follow them, they were all drowned. As the surah concludes, Allah reminds us of the purpose of mountains. Mountains are like pegs and they provide stability to the earth, and how Allah can shatter this mountain into pieces, as secure as it may seem. Again, Allah repeats the story of Iblis, Shaitan, and so how the arrogance of Shaitan has led him to fall, reminding us to be humble and to bow down with those who bow down. The juz then ends with the following statement: قل كل متربص فتربصوا فستعلمون من أصحاب الصراط السوية ومن اهتدى. Say that everyone is waiting in anticipation. So wait then, for soon you will come to know who was on the right path and who was actually guided. So, one of the negative aspects of religion, unfortunately, is that everyone who follows their religious tradition distinctly from the others consider themselves rightly guided. Yet, guidance does not come through one particular religion, but through individuals whose hearts Allah has guided because of their level of sincerity and consciousness. So wait till that day comes when Allah will show you who was actually following the right path and who was guided. And we might just be pleasantly surprised.